All right, you guys, circles, equations of circles. I'm putting this here in the quadratic because, as you will see, it's kind of two quadratics added together, not exactly, but if you think about it that way, it's easy to remember. And what I want you to know, so one thing you need to have written down is the exact equation for a circle, and that's going to be here, let's do it here, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Whenever we're dealing with circles, you're going to want to remember that r is going to be your radius, right? The radius is the point in the center, the distance from the point in the center to any edge of the circle, right? That's the radius. It's going to be the same length no matter where you draw it in the circle. As you can see, we kind of have one parabola here and another parabola here, and they work kind of just like regular parabolas. The center of this circle, the center point, is going to be h comma k. And that's the definition of a circle. The definition of a circle is a set of points which are equidistant to a same separate point, okay? Now, so for this first one, if our center is 6 and 5, right, our 6 is our h, and our negative 5 is our k, right? So here, 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 here. So we know where to put them in our equation. So this is going to be, our equation is going to be x minus 6 squared. Don't forget that when you start writing fast, you forget that squared sometimes. Plus y minus, and then don't forget it's minus a negative 5. So I'm going to put that in parentheses so you can see it. Squared equals 4 squared. So let's simplify this a little bit to make it a little bit easier. And we'll just do x minus 6 squared, that's pretty simplified, plus, and instead of minus a negative, let's call this y plus 5 squared equals 16. Okay, so let's try 2. This is our h, this is our k, so we're going to have x minus negative 11 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 9 squared. If we simplify that, we're going to get x plus 11 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 81. All right, so let's see. We're going to have x minus something squared plus y minus something squared equals 7 squared. So can you fill in those blanks for me for that one? Same with this one. Let's do x minus squared plus y minus squared equals something squared over here. Okay, I bet you can do this one. Whoops. All right, this one's tricky. Do not forget these are both negative, so be careful. It's because it's going to be x minus negative 2 squared plus y minus negative 3, so I have extra parentheses in there, squared equals 8 squared is 64. So what this is actually going to look like is x plus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 64. Okay, over here we have fractions. Do not let that bother you, just roll with it. We're going to have x minus 1/2 squared plus y minus a negative 5, let's just do a shortcut here and say y plus 5 squared equals, and then don't let this fraction mess you up. If we square something, we just multiply it by itself, right? So 5 times we multiply the numerators, we get 25. Multiply the denominators, we get 64. So we have 25 over 64. Okay? Now for this next set, these graphs, I'm going to help you find the center and the radius, but I'm going to have you write the equation. So you need to write the equation, okay? Don't forget to write equation, but I will help you by finding the center with you and the radius. So the center here is this red point, 0, 0. It's at the origin, right? 0, 0. And the radius is equal to, well, what is the radius equal to? The radius is equal to how far it is from that center point to the edge of the circle. So how far is that? Well, oops, I didn't mean to do that. It must be counting by 2's because this is 4. So this must be 2, 4, 6, 8. So the distance from my center to the edge of the circle is 8. Okay, so my radius here is 8. Okay. My center here is x first and then y. So my x number first, we are over, it's still counting by 2's. So if this is 2 and this is, whoops, if that's 2 and this is 4 and this is 6 and that's 8, and my point is in between 2 and 4, the x value must be 3. And since it is on the x-axis, my y value is 0. Now I have to figure out how far it is from the middle of my circle to the edge. Okay. And it looks like the point out here, this is at 9. And if this is 3 and this is 9, then there's 6 numbers in between them, right? So my radius must be 6. Okay. And you can check it. You can go either way, right? If we look at this, we could go, let's take a different color highlighter. How about pink? We could say, here's the center, and I want to go up to the top of the circle. My radius is always going to be the same. And if you do it that way, we know we start at 0, it's on 0, and it goes up to 6. Okay, so 0 to 6 is still 6. Your radius is always going to be the same. It would be harder to draw it this way because you can't just count the squares. Okay? All right. Let me plug in my computer. Okay. This next one is on the y-axis, so I know the center's on the y-axis, so I know on my center my x has got to be 0, and my y is down, so my y value is -2. That's the red point. And my radius is, like I said, you can go any direction for your radius. So how about we go, what's going to be the easiest way? Well, let's go up. Okay. And it looks like the top of the circle is at 5, and I started at -2. So to get from -2 all the way up to +5, that's going to be 7. 7 blocks I need to walk, right? And for this one, my center is at, let's see, -4 and then up 2. So -4, up 2. And the radius is, let's see, the radius is, let's go up to the top. So if I start at 2, right, I start at 2 and I go up, that's 2 blocks, 4, 6, 8, 8 blocks up. My radius is 8. Now that you have the center and the radius, please write the equations for those graphs. I'm going to start a new video for the last part because this is a little bit trickier. I want to make sure you get it.